job ain't finished. Your job ain't finished. Make sure you come ready to go this next week.
How about those?
Are you ready for the best Kansas City Chiefs insight? Welcome to the Four Guys in a Bar podcast, presented by Chiefs Blitz and sponsored by Eric Haynes with the Eric Haynes Group. If you're looking for a real estate expert, call Eric Haynes today at 816-729-3785. That's 816-729-3785. Now, here is your Chiefs Blitz host, Nick Athan, with Lou Montagna, Andre Tillman, and Hense Todd.
Welcome back to the next edition of Four Guys in a Bar, presented by Chiefs Blitz. I'm your host, Nick Athan, alongside Mr. Hense Todd with Bowtie Sports. You can check out his show with Coach Dre every Saturday, 1 o'clock Central Time. It's a hoot. It's a great show, great product, and they talk all things Kansas City sports. So before we get started on today's show and talk about our hot topic of Drue Tranquill, and the other things going on in camp, let's bring in our sponsors. First up, Mr. Eric Haynes with the Eric Haynes Real Estate Group. If you're looking for a trusted real estate advisor, somebody who can walk you through the process of buying or selling a house, this is your man. He's going to take care of you from start to finish. Navigating the waters right now to buy and sell a house is very difficult. There's a lot of red tape. There's a lot of back and forth. You need someone who's going to fight for you and make sure that you get what you want versus what the seller or the buyer wants. You want to make sure that the price is right, the deal is correct for you and your family. So give Eric Haynes a call today at 816-729-3785, or you can email him at esellskc@gmail.com.
Proud sponsor of Chief.
That is correct. The voice in the atmosphere. And next up is my beautiful, amazing wife, Emily Athan. If you're looking for health insurance, health coverage in the U.S., we're licensed in 31 states. If you need an option, that's a private option for individuals, self-employed business owners, families, whatever it might be, you get a free quote today by simply calling her at 913-215-9086. And for the record, she's a very knowledgeable Chiefs fan. So if you have questions, I'm sure she'll answer those too, in addition to preparing a quote for you. So again, if you're looking for flexible health coverage, nationwide access to a PPO network, give her a call today at 913-215-9086.
Emily.
Nicky
love
Emily. Nicky
No
love
Emily.
Emily. How everybody doing today? It's Wednesday. It's Chiefs.
It's Wednesday.
Nice to see that Patrick Mahomes is joining us today. Patrick, how you doing?
Well, he said, hey, he's ready for his third Super Bowl.
He is ready for that third Super Bowl.
Well, fourth, but third in a row. Yeah, three
in a row. Yes.
But again, guys, it's a
Who's
lot.
counting?
We are.
It's a lot that's happening around the kingdom. We had, the emergence of, Mango's guy Nick out here, number 81, is emerging. In training camp again. Ross is still looking good.
It's really good today.
And we have, news that Tony is running with the threes. We got, Jawan Taylor. He got carted off the field today. So it's a lot that's happening around the kingdom. We just here to update you on the guys' news and get ready for Chiefs Who today, because Lou's been stunking everybody.
It's football practice, man. A lot of stuff's always happening. Guys are getting hurt. Guys are playing with different groupings. We won't read too much into it, but you got to let people know, draw their own conclusions, and see what's happening. But it's football practice, so guys are going to get nicked up, and it just happens. I mean, you saw yesterday, after coming off a great game on Saturday, JJ McCarthy out of the blue, torn meniscus. And I can speak to that firsthand, where my knee just didn't feel right for a few weeks. And then finally they found out it was a torn meniscus. And so hopefully he just has the trim part of it and he'll be ready to rock and roll in like 4 weeks, 3-4 weeks. But if they do the reconstruction, then he's done for the year. But hey, it's football. Tackle football, man. Guys get hurt.
Yeah, I had my meniscus done a while ago, or about 20 years ago, and I was pretty swollen for a couple of days, but it took me about a week and a half to kind of walk sort of normal. But I had a 3/4 tear, so I was lucky. I had a great surgeon, and part of my meniscus grew back, so I haven't had any issues since, which I know is not always the case with everybody, but for me, I lucked out for sure.
Right.
A medical marvel. It grew back.
It did.
That might be a first, Nick.
I had people I know a guy who did a transplant, and the rehab was just excruciating.
Yeah.
And so,
if they have to repair it, it's one thing to trim part of it off, but I said it's like you use it or lose it. They trim it off. That's it. So at my age, it's not that big of a deal. At 21, it's if they need to fix it, they go in and fix it, and then he's done for the year. But anyway, my point is that guys are going to get injured. It's a physical game, and sometimes these things happen. I didn't hear the thing about Juwan Taylor. I did kind of lose track of time leading up to the show because I'm watching the assistant coaches at the mic, and I swear I could listen to Joe Cullen and Dave Merritt talk about defensive football for hours.
Oh, they're the best.
Just the detail that they go into, and that's one of the cool things when you get the assistant coaches on the mic. They don't typically. They do talk in some cliches, but you get a little bit more. Sometimes you just because they're not used to doing it, every single day like Coach Reed would be. But you hear some things. They will call out some players. So it's pretty interesting today listening to them talk about guys that are showing up and guys that might need to get rolling.
What's interesting about listening to those guys, and I saw some of the quotes today. Their passion, their positive nature in which they discuss all these things, even with the guys that are kind of struggling. Like Nagy said yesterday about Tony, he's just got to get on the field to practice.
Yeah.
We're not going to know what we have, and now he's running with a third team. But just the way that he talks about, Karlaftis, they talked about Farrell today a lot. Just how much he's grown from last year, and they're counting on him this year. He's definitely he could be the future nose tackle. I mean, Nadi's a free agent.
Spoke very highly of Turk Wharton as well.
Yeah, and Turk Wharton as well. And Turk has just been, Turk's been kind of steady. He's just kind of grown each year. They keep him around because, in a pinch he can make plays and they can throw him in the rotation. And now he's a bigger key to this defensive line that basically has to be, it's a rotational situation. And Cullen is a master at using these guys. So they still have a lot of depth, and they have a lot of guys that they can interchange. But at the end of the day, I'm really, really curious as to how this all breaks down, especially in the first couple of weeks, how they use this rotation. But they are confident and they believe in these guys. And I just like the vibe. I like the vibe from this coaching staff.
A lot of young talent. It's just that you just don't. I don't want to say you don't get the sense, but there isn't like a guy you can count on outside of Chris Jones that is guaranteed double-digit sacks. You kind of feel it with George, right? Felix again came out of the game, did some really good things, and again, Cullen's comments were like, you just got to be a little bit more consistent. Like to see him shed the blocks a little bit quicker, a little bit more, a little bit more production. So there's some work to be done. But I mean, and that's when you go up and down this roster, and there aren't many guys with a 3 in front of their age. So everybody is fairly young. There's a lot of projects going on, but a lot of young guys have stepped up, especially when Dave Merritt refers to the Fab Five and all those guys that they took a couple of years ago in the draft. So it's an exciting time. I've said it before. Maybe people don't believe me, but so for those of you in the back, trust me, we are still in the infancy stages of this thing. I mean, it sounds weird to say, and because of all the success they've already had. Yet last year's Super Bowl, I mean, for anybody that was paying attention during the course of the year, was a surprise. Okay, I mean, quite frankly, until they got in the playoffs, and
unless your name was Hense Todd, it was not
found their way. Kind of figured it out as they were going along, and just found a way how to win games. It wasn't always the same, it wasn't always pretty, but they got it done. And if you were going to get them, so to speak, last year would have been the year. It didn't happen. They still hoisted the trophy at the end. So, I don't want to get too far over my skis, but I truly believe we are still in the beginning stages of this thing.
Going to get some of the comments, Nick.
All right, according to Kareem, tell him, Lou, this juggernaut is just being assembled. About the injuries, Casey Will says over 100 degrees every day probably isn't helping the boys. Casey Will, injuries are starting to add up. Kareem again, Turk will have a breakout year. Of course, a big shout out hello from Ruben. I appreciate you, Ruben. There we go. There it is. Appreciate you guys a lot. I mean, I think when you look at that in particular, you talk about, this is still a young football team. They don't have a whole lot of guys that are in the productive period. Jones just turned 30. Obviously, Travis is 34. But there aren't a lot of guys in their 30s on this football team. And that's a far cry from the way it's been in the past. And the way that Brett Veach is kind of like interchanging, young players, paying the old guys. We talk about this all the time. They have a great roster balance and they have talent. But I'm with you, Lou. I mean, I think they are. In all the national pundits, when they talk about the three-peat, they're like, well, if you didn't beat them last year, when they were terrible on offense, they lost games they shouldn't have lost. They looked out of sync. Patrick Mahomes struggled. Guys are blown up on the sidelines, and nobody could touch them in the postseason. And it's just remarkable. And this year, they're so much better on both sides of the ball. You can see it even in the limited time that we saw in rewatching that game, which was not easy to do. There were definitely some guys that were making some plays, and I think you're going to see a completely different Chiefs team Saturday afternoon at Arrowhead. And remember, they're home until week 3 now.
And even if we don't, it doesn't mean a ton. I'll repeat myself over the last several weeks and through preseason. You just want to see a clean operation. Now, I'm pretty sure the ones are going to get a hell of a lot more opportunities in this game than they did last. So you're going to see a little bit more consistent. But again, there's not going to be any flashy plays. Like I said, the first play, I think, Hense, you were on it. That's the play they called. That was supposed to be a go ball to Worthy. But, they got a different defense. So it went to Hollywood, and you guys know the rest of the story at this point. So, but it's really a matter of just seeing guys take steps. Again, the open spot at the number 2 corner, if you would. And Merritt basically said the same thing that I've been saying since the off season or whenever we started throwing this out there, like who's going to take over for L'Jarius, is that 35 and 2 have played a ton of football for this team and a ton of productive football. And most of the time, you're going to have more than 2 receivers on the field. So he looks at both those guys as starters. You were just talking about in the base defense, when there's 2 wide receivers out there, who's the second guy? That's kind of the question. But in terms of, if you look at the end of games, if you start in the first few weeks of the year and just see the snap counts on all of them, it's going to be fairly close. Hopefully Najee can kind of get over the injury or any timidness he may still have with the knee, because we know, from experience, a lot of that is mental, right? It could be structurally sound, but he's just, you have to kind of be convinced that it's back to 100% to be able to move the way you used to move. So we'll see. So just look for a clean operation, guys stepping up mostly at those positions. Kingsley, you want to see him continue to progress, because I don't think there's any question he's the starting left tackle. So, looking forward to that game, but I'm not really concerned over the result at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I mean, we look at it because we're trying to find the things that each of us are looking for, which is different. We want to see certain guys step up, see if they can match the hype. You want to see a little bit better, more energy from the first team. Even if they aren't successful, but they have more energy, that's a good thing. But then you think about it, this is such a veteran team. The rookies have 2 Super Bowl rings for the most part. You've got Mahomes, you've got Kelsey, you've got Reed, you've got Jones. I mean, Jones isn't even practicing, and he's out there coaching. And, that's what you want to see. And, all that's got to be put together. But, I like the fact that the game 2 is against the Lions. It's a darn good football team. And I think the Lions will probably play their starters the first half. So I think it's going to be pretty interesting first half.
Do you think the Chiefs going to play their starters the first half as well?
That's been the recipe.
Yeah. I mean, Andy's always done that.
Yeah. So we got a question here for Lou. Go ahead. It popped up.
Lou, how do you feel about the ones getting 0 opportunities in this game? A lot of feeling like when you guys go down and the injuries going down in meaningless games.
Well, again, I mean, this is Coach Reed's thing. I mean, they play. He's going to play his guys to get them ready to play football. Now, you see some of the younger coaches. McVay, I think, was probably the first one to kind of say, we're just not going to play any of our key guys in the preseason. And they're different schools of thought, new school, old school, whatever you want to call it. But Coach Reed has a method to the madness as far as how they run camp, how they run the preseason, and what they do. I hear you. You don't want to see your top guys going down in meaningless games. But, yeah, they don't count in the standings. But getting those reps typically helps them get out of the gate quick. And 27-9 in September, over the course of how many years that's been, 9 years or whatever.
Yeah, since Andy's been here.
So I'm not going to sit here and debate him over how he runs his operation. But it's a good question and it's worth talking about. But just in this case, as far as Coach Reed is concerned, he's going to run it his way, and this is the way he does it. So we are going to see the starters probably into the second quarter.
Yeah, and
it was one speaking of the starters and everything, but it was one guy that support the Chiefs, always been supporting the Chiefs since I know them, and that's Rasheed Wallace. He was there at practice today. What you think
That's
about
right,
that?
Man? Ball don't lie, baby.
Yeah. One heck of a basketball player, that's for sure. Massive Chiefs fan. I'm not sure I think he was at the Super Bowl. I'm not 100% sure, but he is a guy that has always touted, his love with the Chiefs, and he's at practice today. He got to watch practice today. So
where does that come from? I mean, he's a Philadelphia guy, goes to college at Carolina, played most of his career, I guess, Portland, Detroit, and maybe some other teams, but most success with Detroit. But no, he's just a very interesting guy. I mean, a great quote. I mean, if we could get him on this show, that would be awesome. That would be a great conversation to have. But just as a high school kid from my state of Pennsylvania, now it's the eastern part of the state, and it was like a whole different league, if you would, the whole Catholic City League thing. And I think he played for Roman Catholic in Philadelphia. Don't quote me on that, but he was just a great high school basketball player and could just do everything at that height. He was kind of ahead of his time a little bit. And he loves Sheed. Yeah, no, I think it's great. I mean, listen, there are a lot of other athletes and other sports and celebrities, that really like this football team and follow this football team. And some of it obviously is a Taylor Swift effect. But nonetheless, when you've got a guy of that elite talent, and this is his team, and he's open, he talks about it all the time. People have interviewed him and asked him this question. And I think it's great. The more athletes and people out there that love this team, it just goes to show you that this football team is really, really global, and it transcends all different sports: soccer, basketball, baseball. Everybody talks about the Chiefs, everybody talks about Mahomes, everybody talks about this team,
And, what I think was surprising to me in the last like week and a half to 2 weeks, how many more people are rooting for them to three-peat versus those that don't want to see it. And I was kind of shocked because there's a lot of backlash. And I know over the summer, there's not a whole lot of topics.
Right.
But just from that first play in practice where Mahomes hit Worthy,
right,
it's just changed it's just kind of slowly changed the narrative to like, well, this would actually be pretty cool. And I know Alex Smith was in town yesterday and he asked Patrick that question as well. And they just expect to get it done. They believe they can get it done and they know how to get it done. So I think more people are going to jump on the bandwagon, especially if they get off to a hot start.
You know who doesn't want to see it is longtime Steelers fans, Cowboys fans, Niners fans. I mean, all these teams that were like on the brink of being able to do it and then just couldn't get it done.
Yep.
And they're just, I guess,
Patriots,
these iconic franchises that, when the names of the greatest teams of all time come up, those are like the ones that, those are the ones that come up. And now all of a sudden, this team, Dolphins fans, of course, going back to the undefeated, but now all of a sudden this team will be vaulted above all of them. That, again, for those that have been fans for a long time, I think because they had their chances so many years ago that, it's almost like Larry Zonka, and those guys popping the champagne every time the last team loses a game in the NFL. Like, hey, it's still us. So, yeah.
So my take on it, he been a Chiefs fan, Rasheed Wallace. He been a Chiefs fan, I think, since Derek Thomas days, maybe earlier than that. He ain't like a new guy just came around. He always been rooting for him when they had the Carl Peterson days and the terrible days. I always seen him in the 90s and always wearing a Chiefs hat or a Chiefs jersey.
That's the connection. The Philadelphia,
Peterson
and Peterson in Philadelphia. But I mean, he's not. I don't know how old is Sheed.
He's about in his 40s.
He's like ageless, right? I mean, outside of the white in his beard, 50. I mean, he looks like he could go out and get you 10-10 right now.
But yeah, he always been a Chiefs fan since the 90s.
He's 49 years old.
Yeah,
in late 40s.
He'll be 50 in September.
Yeah, so the guy always supported the Chiefs. And a lot of people always could criticize him, like, you always support them Chiefs with he always wore a number 80 jersey. What's his name? Rison. I think Andre
Rison.
Yeah, he always wore that jersey. That's when I first seen him supporting the Chiefs, when I see him with that jersey on, or Derek Thomas jersey or something. Or Neil Smith.
Yeah.
He always wore a Neil Smith jersey too. Eric Hicks days and stuff like that. But again, guys, hey, more Chiefs fans and more people support this team, the more people that get behind us. Hey, it's all the better. We'll take all of them on a
shout out to Melissa Etheridge.
Oh yeah.
She's right. She's writing little Chiefs ditties for Good
She
Morning
writes
Football
some good Chiefs ditties
for the last 4 or 5 years.
Absolutely.
She's she's the real one.
Well, we got a little breaking news.
Uh-oh. Here he is, the guy with now his own Twitter account.
The little skillet himself just want to give everybody let them know he has a Twitter account, as Lou have said. Give the man a follow, he said, right now. Give him a follow, Skillet headquarters. He's out here. He said he's going to be breaking all the news. He's a Chiefs fan as well. And he said he want to give everybody and let them know that, hey, he's not the only. He's a part of the guys.
He's going to give Pretty Ricky a run for his money.
He's going to get Pretty Ricky.
Much better.
Pretty Ricky has limited access to cell phone time. So
much better avatar too, because Ricky's got that dog and the NFL cap. That's just kind of Look at the skillet. He's showing it off.
The little skillet. He said, hey, he got the phone in his hand. He's ready to break the.
We need to go get him a Chiefs Blitz hat. All right.
Absolutely. Let's hope they wait a while before we get sued by them too.
Yeah, that's all right.
But again,
is that Disney or who?
But again, he said, "Hey, give him a follow, man. Give him a follow." You know what I mean? He's out there on Twitter, like Lou said. He will be breaking the news. But other again, guys, we have a lot of people are asking a question about Jawan Taylor. Any updates on that?
Yeah, he. I think John Harrison posted this. This is the same. I actually made a phone call right before the show. It was reported earlier that he carted off the field. Now it's been reported it's a shoulder injury, and the Chiefs aren't overly worried about it, so it might not be too severe. I think that was Adam Schefter. Kind of the same thing I had. It was a precaution. Whether he plays this week or not, if it's something that lingers, but it just seems more like a small strain or something muscular. But I don't think it's anything serious. So he probably won't practice tomorrow, would be my guess. And if they're going to take an abundance of caution. Whether he plays Saturday or not. But the injury is not severe from what Adam reported and also what I was told as well.
Yeah, maybe we get a longer look at Lucas Niang trying to play tackle again.
Yeah, that'd probably be where they go, I would think.
I hope so. And I've been rooting for Lucas. I've been rooting for the kid, man. I thought he would be the starting left tackle, but it just wasn't. It's just ain't. He got that Willie Worth style, big. You look at him like, okay, he's a left tackle.
Can't put it together.
He's big. He look physical, but I don't know what's going on.
There's nothing wrong with playing right tackle or being able to play one of the guard spots, so he could he can still carve out in English a role for himself on this offensive line. And we'll see. That's an interesting one. When I was kind of getting an idea, Mango asked me, hey, can you come up with a projected final 53? And I wasn't sure if I wanted them to keep 9 offensive linemen or 10. What's happening at wide receiver. So you're going to see that with this team is that they have to juggle the numbers across the board. And, it's almost like the economy. Hey, if you pull from here, it's going to push over there, and you got to kind of judge what you want, what moves you want to make. And, kind of, because there's going to be consequences one way or the other. So
you said the E word.
Yes, I did. Sorry.
That's all right.
It's my background. It was my minor.
All good.
So, Nick, we're going back 40 years or so, but elasticity, opportunity cost. I got all that stuff.
All right, good. Yeah, my dad was a CPA for 50 years. So he was a magician with numbers.
God bless him.
He was a magician with numbers. Oh my goodness.
But hey, you're gonna need a lot of position with numbers. Speaking of this roster, you know what I mean. You got Tony that's on the third team right about now, and me and Lou is rooting for him. We rooting for the kid. We won't
think everybody's rooting for him.
I just at this point, I'm like, okay, you got the talent, you got what it takes. You just got to give it your all, man, and to be on the third team. I don't know if it's just because he's coming off an injury, or they slowly working him back in, but or is he slowly falling down the depth chart, Luke? What you got to say?
Take advantage of every rep you get in training camp. Again, there's no, as far as I'm concerned, a depth chart is kind of like the last thing that the players should be thinking about. And I don't know if the team might be looking at it from the 10,000 foot view, but every day is just a new opportunity. And it sounds cliche and whatever, but if you're out there with the threes, you run it like you're playing in the Super Bowl. You have to be at your best and show everybody why you deserve more reps and why you deserve more reps with the ones. They were talking about Carson Steele getting reps with the ones. We talked about after the game, and I said, well, let's see, if they really want to see what this kid has, let's see if they let him run with the ones a little bit. in the game, in practice, whatever. So you see that you earn those opportunities. He showed out in the game, so they put him out there. So
yeah, but today he was running with the threes. So
well, whatever.
I know
that's
you just
KT.
never know.
I mean, that's KT. But you look at the other side of the spectrum is somebody who showed it on the field. So now he gets more opportunities with the ones. So that's what KT's got to do with those opportunities, whether it's the threes, the twos, whatever. Drills, if they're just doing one-on-one drills, whatever it is, a blocking drill, that stuff.
But speaking of running with the threes, it was one coach that a lot of people probably didn't like, but I did like Todd Haley. Todd Haley, he didn't care if you was a starter or not. He put Derek Johnson down with the threes. He said, "Hey, I see your potential. I see your talent." And he put that man with the three. He did it with all his starters and all his good players to get the best out of them. Because you're a star, you're gonna just earn the spot. Like I'm the Joker. I'm gonna earn the spot. I'm this. I'm that. I know I'm the talented one in the room. And some coaches probably say, "Hey, if you ain't fitting the memo, like if Coach Dre was on this show, say, hey, if you ain't fitting the memo, if you ain't out there practicing, you are gonna run with the threes." My high school coach used to do that to me. He knew I was a great running back. Go check the highlights. Hense Todd on YouTube. You'll see the highlights. But again, I'm just saying, like, if you ain't out there performing your best and you got the best in you, we know you one of the best that can do it. We know you can run routes. We know you not getting your potential. Them coaches will put you in the third team. Like, hey, you're going to have to earn your spot. Even though they know in their head on their depth chart that, hey, this kid is one of our talented players. Todd Haley did it. Bill Belichick did it. There's a lot of people that do it.
Did you just put Todd Haley in the same sentence as Bill Belichick?
I'm just naming coaches.
You had me theoretically behind the whole thing, but when you attach it to Todd Haley's name, it kind of loses its thunder.
Yeah, that would not be the next two words coming out of my mouth after Todd.
Hold on.
I understand what you're saying, and it makes sense.
Did Todd Haley get the best out of Dwayne Bowe? Did he not? Did he get the best out of Dwayne Bowe?
He did.
He did. Well, did he get the best out of his play?
In Todd's defense, I think his strength was being a receivers coach.
Mm-hmm.
That was his strength. And that's where I think he really elevated some guys, whether it was in Arizona, Pittsburgh, Kansas City. The head coaching piece, certainly way over his skis there.
Mm-hmm.
The coordinator piece looked like he was coming along, and if they didn't rush him into being a head coach, he probably would have become a top end coordinator, and then maybe when he was a little bit older, a little bit more mature, become a head coach. But sometimes you're just not ready for that gig, and so God bless you, Hense. I love the idea, but putting Todd's name to it and saying this is why it's
I'm just saying, some players you got to do that to. Like sometimes
that piece I understand. Just don't put Todd Haley's name.
So I'm rooting for Tony, man. I wish him the best, but
we cheer for all the guys. They're all at this point. They are all wearing Kansas City Chiefs uniforms, and you want to see them all succeed. And the coaches say it all the time: make this decision the hardest decision we have to make all year, or make it the easiest one because you've shown out so much. So it's a tough deal, getting from 91 to 53, and then hopefully a bunch of those guys that you cut don't get picked up by other teams that you can put onto your practice squad. So this is it, man. Those guys at the end of the roster, they know, time's ticking. Let's go.
And then let's go with the sponsors one more time. Let's go, Nick.
All right, let's talk about first my good friend, Mr. Eric Haynes with the Eric Haynes Group. If you're looking for a trusted real estate advisor, go look no further. I know you got a lot of options out there. Everybody knows a realtor, but not all the realtors are built the same or dedicated enough to make sure that if you're buying or selling a house, you get exactly what you want. That's the job of a really good real estate agent. So if you want that person, I highly recommend my good friend, Mr. Eric Haynes. You can reach him at 816-729-3785, or you can email him at esaleskc@gmail.com.
Proud sponsor of Chief Who?
Yes, indeed. And another new sponsor would be my beautiful, amazing wife, Emily Athan. If you're looking to get a health coverage quote, look no further. Whether you're an individual, self-employed, a business owner, or have a small family or a large family, if you're looking for flexible coverage and you want to get a quote, give her a call today at 913-215-9086. She's got access to a nationwide PPO plan. She's happy to consult, walk you through the waters of the health insurance industry, especially during an election year with Obamacare, private plans, group plans. We are a private option, and she will take great care of you because she's the best at what she does. So give her a call today at 913-215-9086 to get your free quote today.
Emily.
Emily.
No question about it, guys.
Emily. But, and speaking of somebody that we all love, and he came on the team that and changed from the Chargers. I still don't understand how the Chargers let the man leave the building, and that's Mr. Drue Tranquill. What you think about him, Lou? He's out here. He's making tackles. He's going up against the tight ends in training camp. He's giving it his all. He's the all juice man right now. The linebacker group. So, what you guys say about him, Lou?
Well, if anybody or those people that have been paying attention to our show from last year at this time, actually, knows that this is one of my favorite players in the league. From his days at Notre Dame, you could just see this guy was a little bit different. He was playing strong safety, but again, he's one of these tweeners. So they made him a linebacker in the NFL. And it just seemed like whenever he played for the Chargers, when he was on the field, he made plays and he had the ability to cover running backs. He's able to come downhill. He can play outside linebacker, inside linebacker. I'm pretty sure he's one of these guys that he could play any position on the field. Now, maybe not at the NFL caliber, but he knows everything about football. So his football instincts are off the charts. So he's just a great guy to have from a character perspective, from a work ethic perspective, talent, speed. I mean, he's got all the intangibles and the tangibles. And yeah, I mean, for them to extend him to a very fair, more than fair deal. He probably shortchanged himself, but he moved last year with his entire family. Probably didn't want to move again. It was enough money for him, more than he's probably gonna see anywhere else, and still have a chance to win Super Bowls. So God bless him. I love Drue Tranquill, and just give me more.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting when his agent Shaheen Aslani, the Chiefs were talking about another player. I can't remember that player, and Shaheen said, "Hey, well, what about Drue Tranquill?" And like Brett Veach was like, "Well, isn't he going to re-sign with the Chargers?" And he goes, "Nope, they haven't made him an offer yet." So very quickly, Steve Spagnuolo, Andy Reid, and he had a conversation. Drue had a conversation with the Chiefs, and that was it. They signed him to a 1-year prove-it deal, and then he got that 3-year, $19 million, $12.5 million guaranteed. Yep. Right before the announcement of the big Chris Jones signing. And I've said this all along. In my perspective, he's a glue guy. You got to have glue guys. You got to have guys that fit, that can play different positions, do different things. And he bridges the gap between the young guys and the superstars. And lo and behold, when Nick Bolton went down, I mean, he stepped up and played great football. In fact, the 2 game when he had that concussion, against the Packers and against the Bills, he missed both those games. He was missed on defense. He's in the game, and I think the Chiefs have a chance to win both of those football games. So, because he's just a guy that makes plays, knows what to do. He really appreciated the fact that Chiefs wanted him. He appreciated the fact that he could just be himself, and he's different personality. He's got his thing, and he respects the organization. He loves his teammates. He made it very clear from about the 3rd or 4th week into in like 3rd or 4th week of training camp last year into the preseason games that the culture was so unique here and so different than what he had in Charger land that he wanted to keep playing here. And so it was a no-brainer. I don't think we were in ever jeopardy of losing him in free agency. This was one of their top priorities along with Chris Jones. And the Chiefs made a commitment to him. And so he's just that he's one of those guys that we're going to talk about and be one of your favorite players. We'll be talking about 5-10 years from now. He's just that kind of person.
Yeah, and
Yes.
I feel like the kid is came out and played his heart out. When he seen the crowd, Super Bowl parade, he was out there just amongst everybody. He was enjoying himself. Also, also him and Spags have, that connection. So I feel like this kid is, he gonna be one of the guys that, you probably want to keep around for, you probably get his third, his second contract with the Kansas City Chiefs. Whatever it be his third, right? His third contract with the Kansas City Chiefs when it's all said and done. Because you got Chris Jacobs trying to make this team. You got Leo Chanel, number 54. You got Nick Jones. Jones is trying to make the team, and Nick Bolton. So those starters, going to be there. So he got his spot. Now,
well, he's the veteran guy in that group. He's kind of the leader. Nick is a pretty strong leader himself, but I think they all kind of look at Drue and look at, this is what a professional is. This is what I should aspire to be. Maybe they might have a little bit more talent than him, but nobody's going to play harder. Nobody knows the game as well. So that's just a great guy to have in that room with those young linebackers. You mentioned Cam Jones and Curtis Jacobs. Obviously Cam Jones was on the team last year, and Curtis is trying to make that move. He was one of the top UDFAs out there. They brought him in. So let's see, hopefully he can make the squad and get a full year under his belt of playing with guys like Drue and Nick Bolton, and that kind of launches his career.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to see what year 2 brings for Mr. Drue here in the Chiefs uniform, because that first year was unbelievable. I think he was one of probably the best linebacker that was on the team. I'm biased. Besides, he's not on the Chiefs anymore. Willie Gay. I feel like we should have kept him.
He could be a free agent. You never know. He may not make the safe roster.
Willie filled his role. He did his thing.
But again,
can't keep them all.
They chose number 23 that's wearing the Jordan number on the back of the jersey. As he look into
that's a great picture.
And look at the stands at his old team and his old stadium that he played in, and now he's on the Super Bowl sidelines, with one of the best quarterbacks in the league, the best quarterback in the league, Mr. Patrick Mahomes. But again, Drue, man, if the guys in the linebacker room, they want to look up to somebody that say, hey, I played safety. Now they move me down to linebacker. He came out of college with you playing safety, correct?
Right.
Then he moved to linebacker. Then he just took a heat of his shot. Like Lou said, you got to take your opportunities in practice. And he took his opportunity to practice with the Chargers. Then they moved him up to a linebacker. Then he came out and played so well. Then the Chiefs looked at him and said, "Hey, we're gonna use it." So that should be a message to Darius Toney too. Not to jump off the subject.
Stay ready, so you don't have to get ready.
That ship sailed, guys.
Stay ready, man. You got to stay ready. And stay in these coaches' pockets. I don't care if I'm playing, man. I'm gonna be just like Drue Tranquill, man. I'm gonna be out there. I'm gonna be next to the coaches. I'm the first one that's down when training camp starts. I'm the first one on the field. I ain't even beating the people that water the grass. I'm beating them down there. I'm the last one to leave too. I'm gonna be all there. The practice, the coach go to sleep. I'm knocking on his dorm door.
Didn't you do that? Didn't you do that, Hense, when you went to camp this year? You were like hours early?
Hours? Hey, I was way hours.
Parking your car in a coach's parking spot, helping the guys water the lawn.
Hey, I didn't know. I didn't know I was parked next to Spags. I didn't know I was supposed to be there. He's getting out of his car. I'm sitting there. I'm in a lunchroom. That's like you can't be here. I'm in there eating my lunch there coming in. I'm like, hey, I didn't know. I
thought for sure you were going to be there every day.
But again, you got to get these guys. You got to be like, you got to be like him, man. You got to get like there and say, hey, I want to take that attitude that he has. Applied to my daily life. That's what the other players should do. That's what the other linebackers rooms do, and that's also what Toney should do too. I'm playing a coach role. I'm playing I'm playing Drake's role today, guys. So hey,
Yeah.
you got to go there. You guys should be glued to these guys' pockets. But other than that, man, I'm glad that he's on his team. I'm glad that the Chargers can't scout talent for if life depends on it. Let this man lead the building. I can't see why they did. When I seen him play last year, I was like, how the heck did he get out the building?
Mm-hmm.
How the heck you let this kid get out the
They
building?
didn't even make him a single offer.
Not a single offer, but now
Nothing.
he's on the Chiefs team, and hey, we glad to have you. You and your family, your wife, your kids, man. Y'all welcome here in Kansas City. Hey, you want to play linebacker? You want to change positions? Just look how he did it, right? Look how he did it.
Yep. No, special talent indeed. So
is Mango out there? Is he in the universe right now? Are we going to do this Will Levis thing? I thought that was one of the funniest things I've seen on the internet in weeks.
I don't know. Maybe we need to do Chiefs 2 first.
Do we have that?
And see if we can find that.
All right, let's do it. Strike up the band,
Hensley.
Hensley. You know what time it is. We got
some more new music. Oh,
that's right. Slap.
There we
as
go.
Coach would say, slap that funk on it. Come on.
That's the Mango. Shout out to Mango.
How do you not like this? This is Mango and his band, folks. This is original stuff. You're not going to find this anywhere else except right here on Chief. Ooh. Beautiful. Love it, Mango.
So today we got Chiefs. Let's get right into it. What you got for us today, Mr. What you got for us today?
He forgot our names.
Mr. Chiefs 2.
There's only two of us here.
Well, there we go.
There's Nick.
What you got for us?
Sorry, he's multitasking over there.
He is. Yeah, a lot going on over here. Okay, folks, for those of you new to the game, in my hands, and you can't see me right now, but in my hands, I have the clues of which I am going to read momentarily, one by one. It is your job, without the help of any Google or dictionaries or your phones or whatever, just your own football wits and acumen. You answer the best you can. These clues are about a particular member of our favorite team, the Kansas City Chiefs. So without further ado, yes, here they are. I hold in my hands the clues. Let's go. Number one. This is not his first team in the NFL. This is not his first team in the NFL. As a matter of fact, his college team and other NFL teams before the Chiefs share a particular color in their uniform. Two-time all-conference performer in one of the biggest conferences in the United States of America. Number 4. The college nickname of his team does not end in S. Does not end in S. Maybe we take the music down a notch.
No clue.
Yeah. Oh, no, I've given you 4 clues, Nick.
No clue for me, though. It is.
So,
we hear you very clearly, sir.
His number, the number he wears on his back, sometimes is associated with the Heat. Damn, Kareem, did not even a guess with Ruben. Is anybody out there?
Isaiah Pacheco.
Is this thing on?
We hear you.
All right.
Hey,
I'm gonna include this one, even though this was gonna be the giveaway one, even though it's probably not that much of a giveaway. His last name, I guess you would think, would be associated with someone that's part of a type of festival or party. His last name.
Nick said Isaiah Pacheco. Is that correct?
It is not Pops. Nope. Seriously, is anybody playing? I mean,
yeah, we're all playing. You're stumped us all,
I'm
man.
talking about the people out here.
Yeah, no one has an answer. You've got us.
Not,
you got us.
Not
here.
even a guess. Okay, one more time. I'll read him again. This isn't his first NFL team. Okay. His college team and his other NFL teams do share a color, the same color in the uniforms he's played in. Two-time all-conference player in one of the biggest conferences in the United States. The nickname of his college team does not end with an S. Does not end with an S. So Kareem says punt god. I think he's referring to Matt Araiza. That's the San Diego State Aztecs. So that does end with an S. His number sometimes would be associated with the Heat. And finally, his last name is associated with someone that's part of type of festival or party. Can we get a position potentially? Guys, come on. We moved the layup line out to the 3-point line. Okay, so no, we're not going to give you a position.
All right. Well, that means nobody's going to guess it right this week. So you're going to give us the final clue, correct?
Yes, sir. This guy is none other than he signed with the Chiefs in July. It really wasn't even that long ago. I think he might have even been under the radar a bit. But
Hollywood Brown.
But he is one Owen Carney Jr., formerly of the Illinois Illini. Yes, Owen Carney Jr., number 50 or 50. The Heat, of course, is the Cops, the Fuzz, 50. Scoring at home. His last name, Carney, is associated with a carnival. Carnival. All right. He played for who the heck did he play for? He played for the Dolphins, the Bengals, and the Illini. All have orange in their uniforms. Obviously, he's from Illinois, the Big Ten. And that's it. So there's your man, Chief Who. There we go. Number 50, Owen Carney Jr., which is kind of interesting because they have him listed as a linebacker at 276 pounds. So I think the Chiefs' idea, he's more of an edge player, maybe like to use them as a pass rusher. I don't know if he played last game, but hey, this kid's a prospect. He's got some skills. I mean, he had a decent enough scouting report when he came out of Illinois. So, yeah, Owen Carney Jr., Chief Who?
That was Chiefs Who, brought to you by Mr. Eric Haynes himself and Lou. Lou has been winning this game for the last few weeks. Looking for more winners to get more prizes. So with that said, shout out to the Mango Band as we ride this one out.
Yeah. Come on, man. This is original music. Beautiful. Love it.
Awesome. Love it. Love it.
You got us wrong this time around, man.
Look at the master has said great work, sweet Lou.
Kareem, I'm expecting more from you, man. I appreciate the props. Thank you.
I kind of think he gave us a hint when we was watching the game. He said it's probably some of these guys that's trying to make the team that's out there right now.
Yeah, if you've noticed, there has been a trend in the summertime that normally it's not your top line guys.
Well,
so you got to do some digging.
They're Chiefs Who's for now, but they may not be Chiefs Who at cut down day.
Hey, that's why I got to use them. I got to use them now.
You got 90 players to choose from, so
yep.
So it was been a great show, man. Hey, shout out Mango, shout out me putting the music together on the ones and twos, getting everything done. Hey, what with that said, man, how did you like that music, Lou? What did you really feel? I think a lot of people.
I told you. I
wasn't
absolutely love
talking
it.
because they was up dancing. I think a lot of people
Maybe they were they were mesmerized. You know, the first thing I said was because he did the Chiefs Blitz dabble at first, and I said, well, hey, maybe can we get some horns involved or whatever? I mean, it wasn't like, okay, I'll get back to you tomorrow or something. He pulls out his phone. He already had it loaded. Come on, man. That was cool. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, absolutely. Give me some horns. Give me some bass guitar.
Mm-hmm.
We have some breaking news. I don't know.
We got a little more breaking news from the baby himself. I don't ask what the news is, but
you got to bring on the skillet, right? Come on. There you go.
What's the breaking news, Mango? Because the baby wants to know. What do you think?
Ouch. Brutal. Hold on, I'm putting it up now. Hold on, let me put it up. Vikings quarterback J.J. McCarthy is out for the entire 2024 season, which means it was not a meniscus that had to have been an ACL.
Well, no, I'm sure they do an MRI. It's still the meniscus. When they go in, they can see that if they can trim it, they'll do that. But if they see that it needs repair, then it's the full repair, and that's the 4 to 6 months out. So unfortunately, it was the more severe of the two. And it's unfortunate because it's not something that there was a hit or, it was like some sort of movie. He just started feeling a little bit of soreness. And the next thing you know, the MRI shows the tear, and here we are.
That's
awful. Yeah. Because he was really he really showed some things in that game that the people, the doubters, were saying that how this guy wasn't very good. All he does is hand off. He doesn't throw the ball downfield and everything else. And he was starting to show it. So, yeah, that sucks for Minnesota.
So would you say this? Would the players be more not interested in preseason anymore? Because it's a lot of key guys that been getting lost in this preseason. You got Josh Downs
every year, though.
For the Colts. You got, you got Hollywood Brown was what he's dealing with. Now you got J.J. McCarthy. These guys, why not just have like the scrimmage games, right? You know what I mean? You go pray.
You need to hit though.
You can get hurt walking to the field.
I know.
In that case,
you pay to do the scrimmages, right? You go to training camp to pay anyway. You might as well watch them do the scrimmage like the Steelers did. Yeah. The Steelers had night practices. Everybody's
but none of what you're saying would limit injuries.
Yeah.
So whether it happens in the joint practice or in a preseason game, a lot of times it's just bad luck, right? I mean, but again, I'll refer back to Mike Tomlin, as you can't learn how to box without sparring. So if you're not going to play, the only way you get ready to play football is to play football. And unfortunately, injuries come with that. Now, can you protect certain guys? If you've got, some veteran guys that are a little bit more injury prone, or you don't need to see them play, but he's a rookie. He needs every rep he could possibly get.
Yeah.
So, no matter, you can only protect them so much.
Maybe the Vikings will trade for Kirk Cousins.
No, that's a good one, Nick. That's well played, I guess. I don't know. I think Sam Darnold's locked in as the starter.
Yeah, no, he is now.
And I'm pretty sure he was going to start the season anyway. But yeah, just for a rookie, his first game.
He said poor Jefferson. Jefferson's not poor anymore. He got his bag.
Well, I guess okay. Hey, Ruben's got a question on Brandon Ayuk. He is not on the Steelers yet. The latest rumor is that he has a contract extension from the 49ers, and he will decide I think today or tomorrow to either accept the trade to Pittsburgh, in which the 49ers and the Steelers have a deal, or to remain in San Francisco. Either way, this is an absolute cluster mess for the 49ers, who I think, and I've said this before, will not win the West, the NFC West, and I have them as a wild card team.
Yeah, I think that I don't want to say they're used to this, but the whole thing when, the whole Jimmy G situation, when they decided Trey Lance was going to be their starter, and then Jimmy G's just kind of hanging around on the side of his own field and kind of doing his own thing. And then lo and behold, they needed him and he stepped back up and played. This is a little bit different. Again, it is a veteran wide receiver. I don't think it's a big deal. If he re-signs with them, I don't think the missed time is going to be a huge deal for him. It's not like Purdy's never thrown to him before or his first year in a new offense. So I think, if he can get past the fact that he's leaving some money on the table, if the Steelers offer is more than what the Niners are offering, I don't know.
I would doubt it. I would think the numbers
he's a West Coast guy. He grew up in Vegas, he played at Arizona State, played all his career with San Francisco. To pick up and move to, again, quite frankly, this part of the country, whether it was Cleveland or Pittsburgh or Boston, that's a whole different ball game. You got question mark at quarterback in all three situations. You're playing with a guy that your team is good enough to win a Super Bowl or at least get to one on a fairly regular basis. That's a tough one. Again, I mean, you never speak about somebody else's money, or you shouldn't.
Here's my only issue with Ayuk. He is not an elite receiver yet. He is not worth $30 to $35 million range receiver. He just isn't. I'm sorry. I think the 49ers would be better off trading him.
Yeah. Second team all pro last year.
Yeah.
Not
okay.
Pro Bowler, all pro.
All pro. That's great for him, and I'm happy for him. But I don't think you put him in that he's going to change games like Jefferson can.
Right.
Or like Tyreek Hill.
He's definitely a notch below, but not much farther down.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I would trade.
I've said it
him
a million times. That's the biggest mistake you make, in free agency or whatever, is taking number 2 somewhere else and trying to make him a number 1. We talked about it, during the course. Kyle Shanahan got the Super Bowl with Kendrick Bourne, Emmanuel Sanders, and just kind of pieced it together. And somehow they're a pretty potent offense. So either way, I think the Niners kind of stood kind of on their ground. Hey, this is kind of what we're offering you. They might have bumped it up recently, but I don't know that they're going to the 30 plus that he might be looking for, or that maybe the Steelers are willing to go to, which again is a huge upset to me. This is really uncharacteristic of them to go out in the marketplace and pay top dollar for a receiver, when it just seems like in the last 20 or 30 years, that's one of the positions that they've drafted the best.
Okay. So we're going to get right into our sponsors before we close out.
All right, one more time before we close out. First up, Mr. Eric Haynes with the Eric Haynes Group. If you're looking for a trusted real estate advisor, someone who's going to help you either buy a house or sell a house in the greater Kansas City area. If you're outside of Kansas City, he has a plethora of real estate agents around the country that he can tap into to find the best person that fits your needs. So give him a call at 816-729-3785, or you can email him at esaleskc@gmail.com.
Proud sponsor of Owen Carney Jr.
Whatever. If you're looking to get
Who is that?
I have no idea. If you're looking to find someone who can help you navigate through the health insurance industry, if you're looking for a quote, whether you're an individual, self-employed, a business owner, or a family, give my wife Emily a call at 913-215-9086. Got a flexible health coverage plan through United Healthcare, access to nationwide PPO network. Please, if you're looking to just find somebody who can walk you through the process, maybe evaluate your current plan, see if there's something better out there, should be happy to help you out. So give Emily a call today at 913-215-9086.
Emily.
Nikki loves Emily. Nikki loves Emily. So with that said, guys, we will be back Friday. We got the Cube that's coming back to do this, the predictions. Then we have story time with Nick. Then we have fact our cat. So you guys don't want to miss the show, man. It's a lot, that's happening on the show. We're going to rebranding. We are doing little stuff that's happened. Also, the Candyman shirts are coming soon.
We added a new quarterback too, if you can see on the graphic. I don't know if you've heard of him, but yeah, there he is.
Yeah. He's number 15.
So give a shout out to everybody that joined in. Nick.
All right, we'll talk Kareem. Thank you for coming on. Ruben. Let's see. Anita came on as well. Appreciate her very much.
I wonder who Anita. Who's in her avatar? Who's that? Is that Anita? Is that her?
I think that's Anita.
Who is that? Hense?
Is that my cousin? That's my cousin.
But the picture is that's a picture of her.
No, that's I don't know, but
but it's not her. I was getting a Sheila E. vibe there.
Yeah, yeah, me too. Pamela Todd came on board. We appreciate her. Gary Holland, Ruben DeCruz had a lot of comments today. Of course, Kareem. Let's see, Gary Holland as well. And going back to the top of the filter, John Harrison. Thank you, John. And let's see. Kenny St. Clair was in, always listening to every single show. I know he missed Saturday's show. We appreciate that. Even Casey Will was in today. So love you guys. Appreciate you.
Go back and listen to it on YouTube, man.
That's right. Please subscribe. Oh, she's clarifying. That's me. So
it is her. Damn you.
Take her at her word.
Come on.
Wow. I said that's my cousin. I said that's my cousin. That's
I got you, but you didn't clarify that was her in the picture, which is pretty sweet looking.
I said, yeah, you said avatar, something about avatar.
Yeah,
but again,
I'm sorry, I use big words.
We use big words. We use big words here.
But again, thank you guys for joining in. Thank you everybody for sharing away. Also, listen to us on Amazon. Also
Apple Music. Yep.
Spotify and everything.
iHeartRadio. We're on all those networks. So
give us a shout out there. Hey, you can go back and listen to us, and at the car wash. Leaving at the laundromat. It don't matter where you at.
Don't matter.
That's Nunya, Kareem. Nunya. Okay. You calm down, man.
So with that said, we'll see you guys Friday.
Hey, let's go.